Hello. Welcome back to the Coop De Villa podcast. I'm Scott Cooper, and we are all here today to talk about the start of the season for Aston Villa, the first match down at Bournemouth. What a pathetic show it was, and we will be getting into all of that after this. Okay, so we were back at the Vitality Stadium, the first game of the season. Long travel down to the south coast to play Bournemouth, and it was a disappointing afternoon in many ways. We didn't get going at all. What a pathetic game. It felt like Watford all over again. It was like deja vu. Noah, what happened?
I mean, what didn't happen, to be honest? And I said it, I'm not sure if I said it on the last podcast or in our group chat, that promotion bounce is such a big thing. And it happened last year against Watford. If you don't get through the first 20, 25 minutes without conceding, you might win the game. Because the crowd's up and about, the players are up and about. I think against Watford, we were 2-0 down in 25 minutes or something last year, something like that. We're never going to win the game from there. And being down in 2 minutes, the crowd's up for the whole 90, always going to happen. And honestly, we just didn't show up. It was honestly just terrible.
That's it. Yeah, we weren't very good at all. And Tommy, I know that you had some comments that last week on the podcast that got a bit of traction, and you wanted to address.
Absolutely, Scott. I sure do. But first and foremost, these are glasses for the fucking blind. And the funny thing is, they also sent me Steven Gerrard's pair.
He's on a mission from God.
On game day, we lost to a newly promoted Bournemouth side. Now, Rich Burton. Thomas has completely lost the plot with his predictions. Watkins out by the World Cup was bad, but Gerrard Gorney Villa not in the top half by mid-season is just insanity. Now, Rich, appreciate the hate. Now, right now, I look like the fucking messiah because Watkins was gone by the first game.
You look like one of the Blues Brothers.
And also, if you actually go to 11:27, I said Buendia should be in ahead of Coutinho. I think we all saw that. A lot of electricity when he came on. I think a lot of people had him poll 1 or 2 votes. I think he changed the game when he came on. Yeah. Kamara was our only standout, but Rich, obviously, appreciate the hate. We just need to be in the bottom half by mid-year, and Gerrard will be gone. I stand by my words. I think Beale's exit is a lot bigger, is a massive loss, and we're not paying attention to that because, if it was co-coaching, Beale's been coaching a lot longer than Gerrard, and I find that funny. So I think his right-hand man, or maybe the person orchestrating things in the back, was gone. So maybe at the expense of, maybe he wanted to take, be at the helm of a club, hence taking the QPR role. But I think the Beale loss is massive. And I think that, hence the glasses, what's our starting 11? I mean, we're giving predictions and about 90% of our teams are probably the same, bar 1 or 2. I think Gerrard's doing the same thing. It must be spin the wheel for each position because, I give Ollie shit. I did say he'd be out by mid-season, but to drop him first round when that Ren starting team probably looked like the starting 11, and then to just go and eject Watkins and put in Ings. I think the whole Mings thing's a bit of there's something going on in the background as well. To strip him of captaincy, and I did see a good comment. He's got a mistake or two in him, but we actually lacked leadership. Yeah. And I've seen that. I think captaincy was given to McGinn for him to lift his game. So a lot of people said he was probably one of our worst performers last season because we've seen what he can do. Now, he's done well in the Prem, but I mean, let's be honest, he dominated in the Championship. Prem's a bit of a different beast, and has he taken his career to the next step? We all said, he's linked with 50 million, 60 million, United, Spurs and all that. It'd be gone in a heartbeat if it was up to me. And then people say, who can we replace him with? Well, I mean, fucking Kamara was on a free and he's our best player by now. So lot to process, but
look, I can't argue with many of those points.
I know,
I gotta say,
but Rich Bird,
Tommy triple shot.
I've just gone full Tyson Fury here, straight with the haymaker.
But Gerrard has the same win percentage that Gary Neville had at Valencia.
Mate, if you change Steven Gerrard's name to Lambert, people would be calling for his head straight away.
It's 2 wins in 12.
Also,
and the players that, he's backed, like Coutinho, John McGinn, he gave the captaincy to, like you've said, have been disappointing for a long, long time. Troy, welcome back to the podcast. And
Excited.
I'm waiting to see what you have to say about this performance.
Well, I did a video for the Brisbane game, and I had a list of managers and their win percentages, and Stevie Gerrard's right down the bottom of that one. It's not looking good. Tommy's done a rant for me. Look, I think a manager has two ways of setting up a team. He can put his best team forward and instruct those 11 players on how to beat the opposition, or you set yourself up to nullify the opposition and tell those players how to win a game. Now, I think with the first game of the season, promoted club coming up, you're away from home. This is a massive banana skin. You want to set yourself up for the season. So what he should have done, and according to the commentator, Gerrard said before the game, look, I'm well aware of Bournemouth's strengths. But he did nothing to nullify them. So that says, so what he should have done is he should have looked at their height. He should have looked at their speed. He should have countered that. And then he should have told those players how to win the game. Everybody knows Mings has got a fuck up in him. And I think this is a big part of Gerrard's problem. And we're seeing it. He's seeing opposition fans singing that Mings is fucking shit. He's seeing our fans sing the John McGinn song. John McGinn, he's a tubby little meatball. He's fun around the club. He's popular with the fans. Let's get him in. Mings has got a fuck up with him. Everybody's whinging at him. Let's drop him. Coutinho selling lots of shirts. Let's get him in. He's my mate. He's doing it all wrong. I think he's going for a popularity contest, and I think you'll find him incredibly salty when those fans turn on him over the next few weeks if he doesn't start winning.
And Aman, welcome back again. I wish it was in better circumstances, but Troy makes some good points there. I think the whole issue around Mings, this is a perfect game for him. I would have thought if we're going to play him, there's going to be balls into the box. There's going to be physicality, that sort of thing. Same with maybe Louise over Ramsey, who was dragged at halftime, got a 4 out of 10 by Ashley Priest in the Birmingham Mail. It just felt like the team against Rennes was the team that we needed with maybe Mings in. What did you think about the starting lineup when you saw it?
I was very, very surprised because I sort of agree with Tommy. If Watkins doesn't fire by World Cup time, then we need a strike. We need a striker now. We need number 9 now. But certainly, by that World Cup break, if nothing's happening up front, then we need a striker in January. But in saying that, I would still give Watkins time now. Danny Ings, he's done. He can finish, but he can't do anything else. He can't press. The way we playing balls into the air to him doesn't work for him. But if we're going to play balls into the air, then we need a striker that can challenge in the air. So I don't think Danny Ings is the right man to be starting up front on his own. And if it's Watkins and Ings, at the end of the day, I agree Watkins should get the first chance. I've heard in other podcasts and other people say that it should be Ings, but the way we looked like we were going to play, that was made for a striker like Ollie Watkins. I can sort of agree with him dropping Mings. I was fine with that. I personally would have played Chambers over Conso just based on Chambers' preseason form.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I don't agree with and was baffled by the comments I saw Gerrard make to the BBC after the game when they asked him about Tyrone Mings. Don't know if you guys saw that, but he said something along.
Embarrassed him.
Yeah,
he's been very quiet in the change room since he's had the captaincy taken away from him. That seems like an odd thing to say publicly.
And he also said something that when Tyrone can look me in the eye and show me that he's a good player or something like that, he can get his spot back or something like that. So that to me just doesn't sit right. Ex-captain, I'm one of Mings' biggest criticizers, I would say, last season. But in saying that, that's not the sort of stuff that you say publicly, to try and motivate a player. If a coach said that about me, to the public, then I'd be like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here.
It's like you look after your mate Coutinho, a bit of an ego. We had Buendia, 35 minutes, double the price of Coutinho, and clearly the better of the two. Give me hate, Rich, all you want, but Buendia is better than Coutinho right now. Coutinho, yes, he has glimpses of brilliance, but in terms of consistency, Buendia is busting his ass and doing lung-bursting runs, and you can't expect more from him. He's an AM, he's not a big body, but he's trying, man, and he's got a bit of fight in him, and that's what you want. He'll get in a player's face, and that's what you want. Your cap, that's what you want. Mings, that's what you want McGinn to do. But you got Buendia, who's fiery, probably because he's coming off the bench and he knows he can start in almost any other club. I mean, he was linked with Arsenal before us. We seemed to nab him. We thought we had a star on our hands, and he's just being benched. But I think Gerrard, I don't know if it's an ego thing. And speaking of interviews, I don't mean to hijack, but I feel like Gerrard's deflecting a lot of it, not taking the blame. Like, mate, you've brought in who you want. You need to wear that if it doesn't work. Not, this or that. So the club's backed him more than any manager right now. And if his name wasn't Steven Gerrard and he came without any experience, he'd probably have half the budget that he does. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, what must have happened in midweek? Because Ollie started every game of preseason.
It was weird.
Right,
very weird.
Every single game, and now he's not starting. I mean, if Ollie was fully fit, like, you have to give him 1 or 2 games. And then maybe think about putting Ings in or Archer or someone. But
it's like these trying to make a statement. Like, but Ings for Watkins. Like, honestly, I was just talking shit out of my ass last week. Bit of controversy, but it's almost like I don't know what Gerrard's thinking. Like, honestly, I thought it'd be Watkins and Ings, not one or the other. Bailey's actually he's warranted his starting.
100%.
I thought he was great. He's great, and I think actually him, even if it's a makeshift forward, he's doing the job. So he's in automatic. So now instead of what things, it'll be who do we pair with Bailey?
And I certainly thought that Bailey didn't have a great game, but he wasn't one of our worst by miles. Yeah.
Like I thought he'd done well. I thought he'd done well with what little he had. You can't do much if you're not getting the ball.
There's 3 or maybe 4 players who've actually earned a starting role. The rest of them, I don't believe, are nailed on. And I'm sure Noah's going to have something to say about that too.
No, I just think
let's give Kamara some praise. I mean, he was by far
unbelievable
in terms of votes. Everyone's like Kamara 3. I actually think Martinez deserves 2. Could have been a lot worse, and the goals weren't his fault. But Kamara just head and shoulders above it. And again, we gave him big wages, but this guy was a free.
Yeah.
Let that in.
I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. Gerrard's brought it in. It looks like a great player in Kamara, and it's the position we needed to strengthen maybe the most. So, I mean, this could be a blip, and hopefully it is a blip, Noah. But but there are sort of certain things going on in the background and in the team selection and in the tactics that do make you scratch your head.
I mean, I just look like on the game thing. The most disappointing part of the game for me was that second goal. The guy is 6'5" and had no one near him from a second ball. No. And I know, Austin McPhee, I know he's a set piece coach. We're really good from it last year. But that was shocking in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't actually think we were that good last year.
No,
I think we conceded. We conceded a lot of goals from set pieces.
Yeah.
We scored a few. Yeah, okay, but I wouldn't call us a dominant team in the air.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
We're not. What's our thing? What's the one thing that you're scared about when you play Villa? Southampton, you're like, well, don't concede a free kick near the box. Ward-Prowse is probably going in 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. You look at a team like West Ham and they dominate the box. They all the way through the team, they've got big bodies, physical guys that attack the ball, that all know their jobs and, don't try and overdo things. We were letting the ball bounce in the second half. I think there was a 2-minute period where 2 crosses came into the box and they both bounced. And I mean, if that happened in an under 10s match, you'd have a go at the defense. It's terrible.
Honestly, Scotty, like I know I could be a blip. First game of the season is fair enough. Like you say, these things happen, all that kind of stuff. I know it's the first game of the season, but I know people in the comments are like, first game of the season, why are you being so angry? It's because Gerrard has had a lot of time so far. Like he's going into his first preseason. He's brought some big players in. Like, he got his team. And everyone this year thought 8th, 9th, around that. This is not looking good. And for a team that is pretty short like Villa, right? Pretty short. We don't have many tall players. Why the fuck are we crossing every ball into the box? Why? They've got 5 players in the box and we're trying to find Ings. And then it comes back out again. Cross again.
Well, I think the reason is because in possession we're so slow. When we win the ball, it takes us a while just to get everyone going.
It's not the answer, Scotty. It's not the answer when you've got Danny Ings in the box.
But they all drop. they all drop back. And then we've got this. You see, this was a problem against Brisbane Roar. We couldn't break down a team that sat back and wanted to defend. And this is an A-League team. Compare that to a team that's just come up to the Premiership. Of course, they're going to probably beat us. If we put in that sort of performance. But Aman, I wanted to go back to Austin McPhee and the set pieces and just ask you: do you think that's working? Do you think he's getting his money's worth, or we're getting our money's worth out of him?
I'm going to be the opposite of some of the comments that I've seen on Twitter about like getting him out and stuff like that, because I know firsthand that sometimes you can coach as many set pieces as you want on a training park, but at the end of the day, like Austin McPhee's not there with the PlayStation controller controlling players on set pieces, and if players aren't switched on and marking, that where they're supposed to be, then we're gonna lose that first ball, second ball. I think that first goal we can see in the 90 seconds. I could be wrong about this, but I saw something that said that Luca Dean was off the field or something like that.
If on the replay, he was there.
He went off the pitch, and that was when we conceded the corner. And the argument is, had he been on the pitch, maybe we wouldn't have conceded the corner that led to the goal. But that's the height of unprofessionalism, surely, isn't it? The referee turns around and says, hey, mate, you're all blinged up. Get off the pitch. Come on, man.
Yeah, but just terrible. in terms of Austin, in terms of Austin McPhee, like, he can't tell the players to be switched on from like defensive corner. I think like the way we're set up to defend is okay, but it's just that players are switching off in crucial moments. What I will say though is, on the flip side, from an attacking point of view, our attacking set pieces, there's nothing special about them. So if he's been brought in to help with set pieces, well, defensively maybe you can't put any blame on him, but offensively we just try and cross the ball in. Like there's no. I think they did try to do something, but it didn't come off.
There was a quick free kick we tried with Coutinho that was absolutely awful.
And he kicked it straight out of bounds. Oh my god!
Also, I find it weird that Buendia and Coutinho, given they're the maestros on the ball, why don't they take corners? These guys put good balls in for a living. Why don't they do it? You've got Dougie Luiz's just backspinning him in. And their centre back's just waiting at the back post, just clearing it. It always happens. I don't like. It never works out for us.
I was going to get onto Coutinho, Tommy, and say, have we wasted our money? Have we put ourselves in a situation where we've got this guy who's on too much money to drop, but he's not in our best 11?
Yeah, absolutely. Buendia's been better than him 9 times out of 10. Yes, he'll have the occasional glimpses of brilliance. Okay, it's cool when we're up, when it's against Southampton or bottom deep teams, but it's never, he's never been apart. I mean, let's be honest, maybe apart from Man City last season, the last game of the season, but never against the big teams when it matters.
Well, never away from home as well. I find it's at Villa Park he's been good, but down at Bournemouth, with 12,000 fans or whatever, it's a bit of a different story. Right.
I will say the Villa fans were class, though. I will say they backed the team the whole 90 minutes. That's all you could hear. Bournemouth fans. I
feel bad for the fans, mate.
So do I.
They're all excited. They're burst. We thought, 1-0, we'll come back second half. All right, 60 minutes, got 30 minutes to score 2. All right, it's 80 minutes, maybe we'll take it.
That's what happens. Because normally Gerrard rips into it at half time, but we were just as bad going into the second half.
But again, like he's a good player, but one thing I will compare, I don't want to cast aspersions, but I look at Lampard now. Look, Everton were a failure, whatever, last season. I look at who he went and got in, and I don't know if anyone heard this. Gerrard actually went and pitched to Tarkowski before Carlos, and he gave the vision of where we want to be, and Tarkowski actually opted for Everton. And I find that really disturbing because we were a lot better than them last season, and we've been a lot better than them the past few seasons.
How much is it being paid?
And again, Tarkowski, free agent, throw big wages at him. The guy's got Prem experience. You don't have to be a genius to type in Burnley highlights. He's an absolute beast. All right.
He's good. I will say that.
And now Everton are linked now with Connor Cody from Wolves, because Wolves are kind of replicating West Ham. Like, all right, we need to go to that next level. They've got Jimenez still to come back, and I need him because my blood is struggling. They've got and they just agreed a fee with that $35 million forward from Valencia, literally just now. They've been chasing him for years.
Guedes?
Yeah, Guedes. They just agreed the fee with him, £35 million or euros. So they've got Guedes now. They're like, we need elite defenders. So they're going for that next level. And they're willing to let go of Cody, who's a talent.
Hopefully he's not in next week because we seriously need a result, Troy. And it's gonna be crazy to see where we go from here. I've rarely have felt this as a Villa fan, that I don't really know where we're gonna go from here.
Yeah.
Look, Gerrard's either going to get better or he's going to get worse. It really is as simple as that. The big issue at the moment is Perslow. Is Perslow going to pull the pin?
I doubt it, because it's his mate, right?
Well, here's the thing. If we go on, let's say 4 or 5 losses, like what happened to Dean Smith, if Perslow doesn't pull the pin, the owners are going to come in and say, I'm going to pull the pin on him myself, and I'm going to pull the pin on you. So Perslow has to say, am I going to go down with this ship, or am I going to kick the rat off it? It's too early at this stage to be calling. I did have my Gerrard card already made, but you know what? I'll leave that until next week. I think, look, just going back to Coutinho, playing devil's advocate, well, we have no footballing identity, and the only closest thing I could see was Man City. We're trying to be Man City. We're going to play it out from the back. We're going to play 37 passes up to half time. When you teach kids, right, you've got to put 20 passes together before you can shoot. Yep. This is what it seems to be. Okay, 30 passes to the halfway line, and then another 47 passes to get to the edge of the box, and then, I don't know.
I mean, we had a lot of possession.
A lot of possession. But every time Coutinho gets the ball, and it's the same as Buendia, anybody that gets the ball on the edge of the box, have a look. Everybody else has stopped. Your wide guys might go to the corner and stand there waiting for the ball, and that's it. It struck me against Man United that Gerrard doesn't know what he's doing to set up against the opposition. It was pretty obvious that Man U's left back, Luke Shaw, was going to tear us a new one. So instead of putting Bailey on him, who's got all the pace in the world, to make sure, just like Grealish did with us, kept the opposition fullbacks in check. No, he didn't do that. And Luke Shaw ran absolute wild. Solo effort for him to have Man United up by 2-0. In that friendly. In the second half, he put Bailey on. Luke Shaw didn't get in the Villa's half in the 20 minutes in that second. He didn't. So why didn't Gerrard set it up in the first? And it was the same with Matty Cash in this game. Matty Cash was pinging balls into the box over and over and over, and they were going nowhere. Kesler Hayden, if you watch him, he drives to the line, he darts into the box, and he pings that ball along the goal, along the 6-yard box, that someone like an Ings or whoever's going to smash that in.
Like the Brisbane Roar goal, Troy.
Why isn't he looking at this thinking, Cash isn't working, let's get Kesler Hayden out there. He's good enough. I don't think there's any doubt that
he wasn't even on the bench.
No, he wasn't.
Well, the problem is Cash.
That's probably why.
Cash was our player of the season last season.
That's the matter.
That's last season.
There's always alternatives. Now, to be honest, again, he's great going forward. For me, Luca Dean is actually very sus defensively. If he didn't have such a good left ping on him, he'd be very sus. And again, maybe that's why we looked at Augustinsson, because he's a very good and very capable left back. He's not just a good job. He came from Sevilla too.
I thought he was shit.
My brother said, who's an Everton fan, who's been on the podcast before, said that Luca Digne, the Everton fans used to always say he's a 9 or a 5. He is. He's either amazing or absolute shit. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean,
when he plays, he was injured most of the last season. So really, we're bloody used to Ashley Young again.
Yeah.
The Messiah.
If we had played the team against Rennes and lost like that, I could have probably taken it a bit better and just thought, okay, it was a bad day at the office. But now it's just, I couldn't tell you who's going to start next week against Everton.
Well, let's go through it. Let's go through and talk about it. I think the only players to me that pick themselves is Dean, because we don't have any option. I wasn't impressed by Septemberson, whatever his name is. Not at all. I think Buendia has to start over Coutinho. I think anybody who argues otherwise is mental in the head. I
think
Kamara picks himself, and Martinez. Everybody else for me is open.
I think Chambers needs.
I think Bailey. I think Bailey starts.
Bailey starts.
Oh, Bailey. Pardon me. Yeah, okay. Bailey. I think everybody else. Who's the centre backs? Who's our starting centre backs?
Chambers and Carlos.
Yeah, Chambers and Carlos. Mings and Carlos. I'd like to see.
It worked, but they're like, Gerrard's like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to put Concert, not even Mings. I'm going to strip Mings. I'm going to drop Mings. I'm going to put Concert, who we all probably said was the third behind. I would have put Chambers ahead of Concert all day, any day of the week.
To me, it's not just an issue with the football. You have a look at me. Sorry, Noah.
Right,
If you have a look at the football, you can argue all day long as to who's the better footballer. As Mings gets people up, he G's people up, he gets behind. When you fuck up, don't worry, he'll pick you back up. You have a look at Konza. He's exactly the opposite. He bitches about everything. The guy bitches more than I do.
Negativity.
That's impossible, Troy. No, but I just think with that the second goal, Mings would have been there. Like
even the first one, Mings puts his body on the line. He's doing those game-saving dives, as
I said, it's the first game of the season. As long as Villa bounce back against Everton, then it could be a different story. We need to bounce back.
If we don't, how many games does Gerrard get, Tommy? Noah?
I think he gets the same as Smith last year, probably to October.
He gets 5. He had a much bigger war chest, and he was given a lot more from the
but did he? Because look how much Dean
Shut up,
spent
Noah.
last year.
Listen, all right.
No, but you got spit in the facts.
Well, it's Everton, then Palace, then I think it's City and Liverpool.
I'm telling you,
that's a tough run of games.
And then your boys in England.
I'm surprised if they sign Connor Cody and Tarkowski.
They are going to sign.
It's a dangerous centre back pairing, both 29, both the same age of Carlos, and they probably cost a third of the price together.
Everton are fucking trash. We should beat them. I don't care if they got Tarkowski or Connor Cody or whoever. They're fucking terrible.
Albert Lewin playing?
No, he's injured 6 weeks, and then Holgate. Godfrey broke his leg.
But they got Iwobi in that.
Iwobi's
terrible.
Last game.
He's terrible.
I reckon we'll bounce back, and I reckon it'll be 3-0 Villa. That's my prediction.
Okay, so we all think that Chambers should start. Who's he partnering? Mings or Carlos?
I think Carlos.
All right, the midfield. Kamara picks himself. Who's in the midfield?
McGinn, Louise.
Nah, bullshit. I don't go with that any day of the week.
I'd play Buendia and Louise.
Oh, no, but I also say Buendia like on a flank.
I'm going. Nah, it's got to be a 4-3-3. I know it sounds dumb, but throw Archer in the mix. Like I've been calling some weird shit, but why not? Like it's like we need a. We're not going to sign one. We've got this young kid who's actually clinical. He's like a little dark, short version of Haaland. We'll take him. He's like Wish.com Haaland.
One thing I will say is bring him on with more than 5 minutes to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes a difference with Cameron Archer if we're going to be crossing the ball in like we were on the weekend. Then
I don't want to be the one to say it, but do we trust the Holy Spirit himself, Keenan Davis? Do we give him a run? He was impressive for Forest.
He's injured.
Is this what it's come to?
He's injured. We do not give Keenan Davis a go. That's
Look,
one thing
the Australian tour showed us is that, our B side was continually better than the initial side that Gerrard put out. We've got strength in depth that I've never seen, yet the substitutions weren't exactly free-flowing, were they? Gerrard has the option to say, do you know what, this isn't working. Whatever his plan was, let's change things, and he just didn't.
Yeah, we're down 1-0. Let's bring on Louise just to make sure it's only 1-0 instead of going for it.
Yeah.
The fluency of the team is better with that B team, like you said, Troy. Like in the preseason anyway, we were way better in second halves than we were in first halves in those matches. So, I mean, what about Kamara at centre back? Do you think that's an option? Do you think he'll go for that?
Just think of it. He was our best player in his current position, so we can't
change it. It's like playing Yedinak at centre back.
And to me, this is why I think you have Chambers in there, because he's has no problems going forward. He's brilliant apart from the assists that we saw from him last year, the ball player. So when we're actually attacking, we can leave 3 at the back, and Kamara and Chambers can push way forward. One can push forward and one can come back. It gives us almost one of those 8s, either Chambers or Kamara can then push in to be a number 6. It gives us that dynamism. Konza doesn't give you that. He just doesn't. Carlos isn't giving you that. To me, Chambers is. He has to
settle in.
I think Carlos has been good apart from the Bournemouth game. In the preseason, he was good.
Yeah, he has to settle in though.
Hang on, settling in. I'm like, mate, this is the Premier League.
It's his first game in the Premier League.
He's had one bad game. I think in the other games, he showed enough. I mean, Bailey had a bad game as well. But he did well in the preseason. So I would, Carlos is going to start.
It's one game, boys. It's one game.
I know.
It is one game, but somebody needs to pull him up and say, okay, mate, you've proved that you've got legs like tree trunks. You proved you've got the guns. Let's see if you're a footballer.
Here is the question. I watched, and I don't know if you guys watched.
Is this part of the quiz?
Brighton beat Manchester United last night.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll finish ahead Brighton?
No.
I think we'll finish ahead of Man U.
I think they'll be 10th and we'll be 11th. I'm changing my prediction if we're
Nah, unlucky, brother. Unlucky you.
It's recorded.
It's recorded.
I said 7th, so that's.
I said 8th, but honestly, I
I
reckon
said
we will.
9th, so I'm all right.
I reckon we will. I reckon we'll get it together. It's one game. There's 37.
I know it's one game, but I said at the end of when we signed these two guys, and everyone was sort of saying, "Well, this is upshooting us, towards Europe." I said, well, "Hang on, you need to sign players of the caliber of Carlos and Kamara to stand still because everybody else is improving." So, as far as I'm concerned, we're standing still around 14th at the moment.
You look at West Ham; they're actually building. They've got to sign that Skamaka. He's a freak, and they've got to sign Cornet from Burnley.
Yeah, I know, but they also lost 2-0. They lost 2-0.
That's Man City, mate. Like 2-0 against. Also,
exactly the same side.
Also, we're giving some outrageous. But Haaland is going for 30 goals this season. I've backed him from day one. This guy's a class above. Nunez.
He'll score like 6 against us in one game.
Darwin is good. They don't even compare. It's
They're
like
different.
Ford Fiesta and a Rolls Royce, mate. Haaland is just different gravy.
All right.
You
So
just compared him to our young fella. What are you talking about, Tom?
We need to start wrapping up. So we'll do predictions. Noah, you want to go for Everton?
I said 3-0. I said 3-0. I reckon we'll bounce back.
And the goals?
I'm going to go with a McGinn, Buendia, and Bailey.
Aman?
I'm going to go 1-1. Not enough to get the 3 points, but a much improved performance. And I'm going for Ollie Watkins to start and get a goal to get the ball rolling. And he's going to have a Tommy, I'm coming for you t-shirt underneath his shirt or something like that.
What about you, Troy?
I think Noah's on crack. I can't see it. We've got the managers going at each other. They're going to be up for it. I reckon we're going to get done 1-0.
No.
Tommy?
I'm going 2-2, but we're going to blow a 2-0 lead. And Timo Rogenbaum is my X factor to start.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I'll go 1-0 Villa and Ollie to score, and it's pure hope. I have no sort of logic to base that on, but that's why you guys come here, not for the logic.
If we lose this, I don't want none of this. We're Villa through and through. It's just losses till he goes. I'm just saying. Because with Gerrard, you don't forget it's patches here. We'll win 3 or 4, then we lose 3 or 4. Now, unfortunately, we've started with a loss. And if it starts with another one, there'll be a further 1 or 2 to come.
I don't remember the last time we had the win 3 and 4. Like we need a win 3 or 4 right now. Like because we've got Everton, Crystal Palace, and then I think it's Man City, Spurs, Liverpool. It's all getting.
we got to get a few points. And everyone was saying, easy 9 points to start the season. Well, it's never easy in the Premier League. It's the hardest league in the world.
I think that was the issue, right? Like, I don't know if you guys watched the game before, Fulham versus Liverpool. I think from a supporters base and a players base, they probably saw this fixture as it's going to be easy. But Fulham, like, they were up for it. Like, they were like, we're playing at home, first game of the season of the Premier League. Like, their players were like Andres Pereira, man, he was like killing it. Paulinho, whatever his name is. He was killing it as well. So, and look at Bournemouth, like, their first game, like you said, promoted. Their next 3 fixtures are like Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City. They're like, if we're going to get, any points from our first month in the Premier League, it's going to be against Aston Villa.
But every game for them is a big game. It's a big game.
Yeah.
And I think that Villa rocked up thinking, Bournemouth, we'll roll over them easy. Scott Parker making excuses, we're not ready. We'll beat them. Well, that's not the mentality anyone should have. And I think the fans were a little bit optimistic as well. I mean, it's every right to be optimistic, made some good signings, but you can never underestimate just a newly promoted team on the first day of the season.
And the last day. If they're the worst teams to play, they're coming up with a lot to prove.
I mean, you look at Forest, they played Newcastle away, so they were at St James's Park. It's a bit different. Their first game at home will be electric, and they'll probably win it. I'm not sure they'll probably win.
Look, I'm flexible. I don't have the Coop De Villa sign. I don't have any claret and blue. If we lose the next 3 games, fuck it. I'll go support Forest. I'll go on their podcast.
Well,
you have to start one by yourself, mate. I don't think
you've heard it here first, everyone.
the Troy to Forest podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
Hopefully we can get the win next week. Hopefully the fans turn up and get behind the team, and we can start well like we didn't against Bournemouth. We really need these points because after these next couple of games, it gets a bit tricky. So thanks again for everyone for liking and subscribing, watching the videos. A lot of good support recently. Please let us know where you think it went wrong against Bournemouth. What players do you want it back in the team, or to be given a chance? Because there's a lot of questions for Stevie G. He's got a big 6 month coming up before the World Cup, and he's got to get it right.
Speaking of likes, Noah, you want to announce the news? Not your pregnancy, the other one.
What? Which other one?
You just posted it, mate. I thought Scott was
that one. Yeah, no, the one where one subscriber off 300.
Oh, yes.
I thought 300. Sorry, you said 300.
Well, that's it. So please be the 300 subscriber.
Yes,
you won't get anything for it, but
you'll know when we get to like 1 million one day. You'll be like, I was the 300th sub of the.
That's right. Yeah.
You get a free comment. Hit it, Tommy.
Pinata.
Well, everyone, let's hope for a win next week. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.